Do you ever look back on a really difficult period of your life and think to yourself, wow, I'm so much stronger because of this? Hi, I'm Zara. I'm a medical doctor and an entrepreneur. And a few years ago, I had a terrible knee injury, and it probably set me back about 3 years. It frustrated me constantly, but because of that same injury, I'm stronger now than I was before it even happened. And it made me realize something really important about hardship. There's actually a psychological concept called post-traumatic growth. It describes how people can have positive psychological change, especially after adversity. Research shows that after major setbacks, people actually report stronger resilience, clearer priorities, a deeper appreciation of life, and increased personal strength. Not because the trauma was good, but because we adapt as humans. And the growth that we experience often happens after our old systems that weren't probably working for us break. Does this mean that we should seek bad experiences? Absolutely not. I promise you, hardship isn't something you need to chase. And pain isn't automatically beneficial. But sometimes the truth that we have to admit to ourselves is life can sometimes just be hard. And not everything has to be taken as a lesson. In fact, it can actually be emotionally harmful. The point isn't to romanticize suffering. The point is recognizing that if hardship happens, it doesn't necessarily have to define your limits. How does pain actually turn into reward? Growth happens from three major things: forced adaptation, identity rebuilding, and skills development. When something disrupts your life, you often rebuild your routines, rebuild strength, and rebuild your perspective. And over time, that rebuilding process ultimately just creates a stronger version of you. I wanted to share my own personal experience of this with you. Many years ago, around about 5 or 6 years ago, I was playing squash with a friend and I heard a snap. I was absolutely devastated. That little snap was my ACL, my MCL, and my meniscus all tearing, rupturing, and being damaged all in between. I think they actually called it the triad of death. I was heartbroken. I went from being at my most fit, most active, most bouncing around, doing all sorts of sports and activities, to having a major knee injury. I ended up having the surgery. I ended up having 6 weeks of being non-weight bearing on my left leg, and it created a lot of weakness and difficulty for me. I started rebuilding some strength somewhere in between. It took maybe about 1.5 years of it. I needed to start putting systems together, start being more focused on actually achieving better strength, better fitness, better recovery for this injury that I had. So I knew I had to rebuild systems to help me get there. Unfortunately, about 1.5 years, 2 years later, I was going for a hike and I heard that same snap in the same leg sometime after. Again, devastated. I ended up going for another scan and I found that I had torn my ACL again after its initial reconstruction. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm laughing and smiling now because I can remember how much I've come through and what I've achieved so far. But the truth is that it was devastating. It was painful. I kept feeling like I was falling behind. I kept feeling like I was never going to get as strong as I was before. I didn't end up repeating the surgery because I didn't want to go through that same hardship again, and I figured I would rebuild from a different place. So I entered into a biokinesis program. I did dedicated work for over 1 year, and now I can confidently say that I'm stronger than what I was before my initial injury. I can deadlift 80 kilograms. I can squat 75 kilograms. I'm fitter, stronger, faster than I ever was before. And I know that there's no way that I would have achieved what I have today if I hadn't gone through that injury. Now, don't get me wrong. At the time of the injury, it was painful. I felt like I was suffering. I felt like I wasn't ever going to get back to the same position that I was before it even happened. And it really does just make you a little bit despondent. It's funny that I'm sharing the story with you because the other day I actually spoke to my biokineticist, who is basically like a personal trainer, to be honest. He's fantastic. And I said to him, and I'm so grateful for the strength and the fitness that I have now. I somehow had this weird appreciation for this injury because if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't be as strong. Whatever your own story is, whatever your own hardship is that you've gone through, look back on it and see how much stronger you've grown as a result. We don't have to romanticize suffering. We don't have to romanticize pain, but we can grow and learn from it and hope to be stronger and better as a result of it. Not all pain has to be good. Sometimes life can be rough, and we just move on. But what a power move that it is, that if you fall, break down, get weaker, and then rise stronger than ever before. If you've ever had a moment like that before, drop it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your strong story. If you'd like this video and you'd like to see more, my latest video is up here, and you can always subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video.